Good afternoon and welcome to Live at 4. I'm Sarah Carlson filling in for Susan Simon.
And I'm Arman Rahman filling in for Brady Mallory. We are starting with some breaking news. A man mistakenly deported to El Salvador is back in the United States.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia is facing federal criminal charges after spending months away from his family. The Department of Justice accuses Abrego Garcia of conspiracy to transport undocumented people into the U.S. Now, if convicted,
Abrego Garcia will be imprisoned in the U.S. before going back to El Salvador. We'll continue to follow this story as it develops. For now, let's turn to weather. Meteorologist Blaze Keller is your first warned forecast out on the patio. Hi, Blaze.
Hello. We've had a mix of partly sunny to mostly cloudy conditions, a little bit more sunshine now as we begin to make our way into the late afternoon hours on Friday. We're ending the work week still underneath moderate air quality conditions. There is still a little bit of that haze out there. But the good news is we've said goodbye to the orange as well as the red, which we were previously under, which is unhealthy for some, in the orange, or even unhealthy for all persons. So that is some good news. A lot of that smoke has since been spread out across the atmosphere. Winds still remain light, but they're beginning to turn in different directions, and that's allowing more of that smoke to disperse across the atmosphere. So we're going to continue to stay underneath these hazy conditions overnight into Saturday. Now, Saturday, we will see more cloud cover along with that chance for showers and maybe a few thunderstorms. So that's also going to help pull out some of that smoke from the atmosphere. But watch as Future Track walks us into your Sunday. You're seeing that thick plume of smoke move on in. That is going to be along one of the fronts with our next rainmaker. So it's going to be amongst the clouds. So we're not anticipating really any wide coverage of this thicker smoke outside of cloud cover as we head into the weekend. Still eyeing the chance for a stray shower or thunderstorm this afternoon into the early evening hours. We should remain dry for the most part, not only Friday night, but Saturday as well. However, there is a chance as we look towards the end of Saturday, mainly along the state line, to squeeze out a few showers and thunderstorms. That then turns to more scattered chances as we head into Sunday, further into Monday. So we'll break down those scattered rain chances on Sunday and Monday coming up in the full forecast.
All right, Blaze, thank you. And earlier today, a jury found Maxwell Anderson guilty of murdering Sade Robinson in Milwaukee County. The case gaining national attention after parts of her body were found in Wisconsin and Illinois.
Now Anderson is facing 4 counts of first-degree homicide. Our Tanisha Shaw is breaking down the next case.
She solved her own case. My baby solved her own case. That's how I raise my kids. We don't give up. We are fighters. I demanded justice.
A mother is continuing to mourn, but today, Sheena Scarborough says she witnessed justice for her 19-year-old daughter, Sade Robinson.
She will be forever remembered as an angel, a light worker who has touched so many souls, so many lives in the Milwaukee community.
Friday morning, after about an hour of deliberation, a jury convicted 34-year-old Maxwell Anderson of killing Sade Robinson and dismembering her body.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Maxwell Anderson, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as charged in count 1 of the information.
It's believed that Anderson killed Robinson after a first date in Milwaukee in April 2024. Days later, officials found out that Anderson set Sade's car on fire and her body parts were spread across Milwaukee County and as far as northern Illinois. I'll have more on this story in reaction from local politicians tonight at 6 p.m. Reporting in Madison, Tanisha Shaw, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Tanisha. And Robinson's family says they are also filing a civil suit against Maxwell Anderson. We do have a statement from Representative Sheila Stubbs, who joined Robinson's mother today and is working to form that task force for missing and murdered Black women and girls. It reads in part, quote, "I am grateful for Ms. Scarborough's continued support of this legislative effort, and I will not rest until we get something done for these families across our state who are missing and grieving their loved ones. It is our obligation," she says, as a state to prevent the next homicide or missing person case. Our Tanisha Shaw will have more with Stubbs at 6.
On Monday, the father of the Abundant Life Christian School shooter has a status conference. Jeffrey Rupp now is charged with 3 felonies, 2 counts of intentionally selling a dangerous weapon to a person under 18, and 1 count of contributing to the delinquency of a child. Court records allege Rupnow gave his daughter access to multiple guns while he was aware about her ongoing mental health issues. Rupnow's currently out of jail on bond. His status conference on Monday is at 1:40 in the afternoon.
Doctors say the number of Latinos impacted by dementia will increase 900% over the next 30 years. Compared to a white person, an older Latino is 1.5 times more likely to develop dementia. But often there are barriers to getting a diagnosis. That's why the UW School of Medicine and Public Health is offering a new course focused on addressing the disproportionate rate. The goal is to bridge cultural and linguistic gaps that students wouldn't otherwise learn.
One of the tests for dementia is like, oh, tell me a list of fruits or tell me a list of vegetables. And there's one word that, depending on the country that you're from, it might be a fruit or a vegetable. So somebody might get sort of a negative point in this test if we don't know where are they coming from. It's one simple mistake that could make the difference between, hey, you got a diagnosis, or we say you're fine, but it turns out that you're actually sick.
Enrollment is open now for medical students. The course begins next month and ends in December.
And a new poll finds the majority of Americans fear the GOP's sweeping economic package will hurt their families' ability to get affordable health care. The poll from the nonpartisan research group KFF was conducted last month among about 2,500 adults. Democrats and independents are more likely to feel this way compared to Republicans and Trump supporters, but 1/3 of Republicans polled say they have concerns the legislation will hurt them. The poll has a margin of error of 3 points. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office estimates that under the bill, nearly 11 million people will lose insurance by 2034.
Well, there's more fallout today from the very public feud between the President of the United States and the world's richest man.
A day after President Trump and Elon Musk went after each other on social media, the Tesla CEO is trading barbs with a close Trump ally. Erica Brown reports from the White House.
President Trump told CBS News' Robert Costa Friday that he's focused on the domestic and foreign policy matters of his presidency, not on Elon Musk, in the wake of their very public falling out.
I'm very disappointed in Elon. I've helped Elon a lot.
Trump and Musk, who just a week ago praised one another at the White House, traded insults and threats on social media Thursday after Musk called President Trump's signature budget package a, quote, big ugly bill, arguing it would add trillions to the deficit. The White House denies that.
With respect to what Mr. Musk has been saying about the big, beautiful bill and overspending and things like that, I think that that dog won't hunt when you do the math properly.
A senior administration official says President Trump is considering selling the Tesla he brought in March as a show of confidence in Musk.
Do not doubt and do not second guess and don't ever challenge the President of the United States, Donald Trump.
House Speaker Mike Johnson said he wants to see the two men resolve their differences.
Look, I hope they reconcile. I believe in redemption. That's part of my worldview, and I think it's good for the party and the country.
While some in the Republican Party are hoping President Trump and Elon Musk patch up their relationship, others appear to be fanning the flames. On Friday, Trump ally Steve Bannon called on the White House to investigate Musk over his alleged drug use and how he ran Trump's Department of Government Efficiency. Bannon also questioned whether Musk's path to becoming an American citizen was done correctly. Musk responded on social media Friday, calling Bannon, who served 4 months in prison, a criminal. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
Well, coming up next on Live at 4, Blaze Keller returns with your first warn forecast.
We will be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back, everyone. The Dane County Health and Human Needs Committee has voted to change its contract awarding process.
Now, the move comes after Channel 3000's content and assignment editor Jason Cuevas published an article on loopholes within that process, allowing Human Services to award contracts worth hundreds of thousands of dollars to local groups without a full board vote. Jason joins us now to discuss the latest development. Now, for Jason, for viewers who don't know, explain the county's rules for awarding contracts and what was wrong with that process.
All right, so the big thing is the county has what's called major contracts, which is simply any contract of $100,000 or more, or a normal contract. A contract that's $100,000 or more needs a full vote by the county board in some form or another. What happened in this case was they took a contract that was well over, one for $397,000, one for $276,000, and then split them to be smaller to use the under major contract vote and not go the full county board.
Wow. Okay, so now there were two options the committee had to choose from to address this issue. What were they, and explain that part?
So 2 ordinances were presented at the Health and Human Needs Committee last night. One was from Jeff Wigand and Maureen McCarville, who had publicly said they were going to introduce this. Now, unbeknownst until the agenda came out, Chair Patrick Miles, Heidi Wegleitner, and David Peterson made their own separate one, and these vary quite a bit. The first would strip any sort of special rules for human services, and they would have to be treated like a construction contract, any other contract. The second one more kind of tweaks things, although in my looking at it, it's kind of more talk than action. I don't think it actually gives any more oversight, and in some ways it appears to actually give the Human Services Director even more power.
Interesting.
And this wasn't all that happened last night. The committee also talked about the nominee for Human Services Director. What happened there?
Yes, they did approve John Schluttler. One person voted against, which they said was not that they didn't like him, but the process. This has been widely criticized. The 2 previous nominees were black women. They had to make public appearances, meet the public, answer all these questions as part of the process. Schluttler has not. He's not had to answer to the public in any way at all. This goes back to somewhat of a rift between Heidi Wegleitner, who torpedoed the last nominee, Amy Everett, and got her to resign after aggressive questioning. This upset County Executive Melissa Agard, who then made this nominee and kind of didn't go through the process that Wegleitner and Miles actually originated for this. So it's kind of a behind the scenes, we're not going to play it your way anymore kind of move.
Interesting. So why are we paying so much attention to human services?
Well, this is what I think people don't get. Human services is the biggest part of the county. It's by far the biggest
of the budget.
Place. It's got the most budget. As you know, it's been announced that there is a $31 million structural deficit for Dane County.
Right.
Human service, and I'm not saying it should be, it's just the first place to look. They have the biggest amount of money. Whoever gets the most money is going to be the first place people look. And because there has been some strange things with contracts, you know, people are wondering. It brings things up. They need to find some extra money. It's a reasonable place people would look.
It's some place to keep an eye on, and clearly there are some interesting things happening behind the scenes there.
There is, and I've talked to some elder statesmen, if you will, and they said it's funny because back in the day, no one wanted to be on the Human Services Committee. But these days, it's what everyone wants to be on. It's where the real money and the big contracts are actually handed out these days.
Wow. Well, Jason, thank you for all of your in-depth investigative reporting, and that we will continue, and we can see more of this where?
On channel3000.com, I have a story up right now. So
Awesome. Thanks so much.
All right, Jason, thank you. Let's get a look at your first warn forecast. Meteorologist Blaze Keller, right back out there on the patio enjoying the sun, Blaze?
I did, yes.
Oh, you're not on the patio?
No, I'm right over here, Armand. I did enjoy the sun while I was outside, but now back indoors. We're still going to keep the partly sunny, turning mostly cloudy as we go overnight. Kind of a mix of some sunshine, some cloud cover, not only through the rest of the afternoon and overnight, but into Saturday as well. We may squeeze out a stray shower this evening and throughout Saturday, but the best chance for scattered showers and thunderstorms, as I mentioned earlier in the show, is going to arrive on Sunday and continue into Monday. So we're looking at a pretty seasonal day on Saturday. If you're going to head out, know that, again, partly sunny to mostly cloudy. Along the state line, maybe far north into parts of Dane County, Jefferson County, as well as folks further east, we may squeeze out a shower or two as we head into the late afternoon, early evening hours, but it's not looking like widespread activity. That's going to arrive on Sunday. We've got a low pressure system moving through southern parts of Canada, and one of its fronts is going to be moving its way southwards into Wisconsin as we go into Sunday. So we're now at 1 p.m. on Sunday afternoon. There's that somewhat broken line of showers and thunderstorms. Better chance for rain is going to be closer to that low, so further to the north. Can't rule out maybe a slightly stronger thunderstorm, but we're not anticipating anything severe out of this. We haven't really gotten the atmosphere ready. We haven't set the table, so to speak, for these storms to potentially become severe. Once that front moves on out, we quiet down Sunday night, and then the second front with this system moves in on Monday, and that's going to once again bring back not only the cloud cover and likely some smoke as well, but also that chance for scattered showers and thunderstorms. And like Sunday, not anticipating any severe weather on Monday either. Closer to the low, the better chance for more of that rain, so further to the north, which means folks here across central and southern Wisconsin, we're looking at maybe a 1/10 of an inch to a 1/4 of an inch of rain at best as we look ahead through at least Monday afternoon. Maybe upwards of a 1/2 an inch of rain if you're hit both Sunday and Monday, but we're probably looking at about a 1/10 to a 1/4 of an inch of rain once things all wrap up later Monday afternoon. We continue to sit underneath a somewhat wetter than average forecast as we move closer to the middle of June. But if we look at the data, now we haven't gotten May's data yet from the National Centers for Environmental Science. That comes out, or environmental information, that comes out in a few days. They have to process all the data over the last month. So if we look at the data from January through April, a lot of Wisconsin has actually picked up quite a bit of rain over the first 4 months of the year, especially where we find these darker counties like in Marathon County. However, along the state line, we actually have been not seeing as much rain. We've been shorted anywhere between 1 inch to maybe 3 inches of rain from January through April. So we really do need a little bit more rain here across southern Wisconsin. And we will get the chance, but unfortunately, this latest weather system is a little bit too far north to bring folks along the Wisconsin-Illinois state line that chance for that beneficial rain. So once all things wrap up, the scattered showers and thunderstorms, we may squeeze out an isolated shower or two Tuesday and Wednesday, as well as into Thursday, but we really are not seeing any big systems move through not only the Midwest, but quite frankly, the United States, possibly over the next week to maybe 2 weeks.
So time to be watering my flowers and plants again.
It is. You know, we're in the point of the year where obviously we build up enough heat in the afternoon, we squeeze out a shower or thunderstorm. But in terms of like organized weather systems that you would otherwise think to bring severe weather, there is just this big high pressure system that is parked off of the West Coast and is pushing everything into Canada. So anything that we get is going to be kind of afternoon heating, but we don't see any severe weather. So we'll take kind of the good with the bad here.
Sure, it looks pretty nice.
Yes.
Thank you, Blaze. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Blaze.
Well, this is your reminder to vote. Oh, actually, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, but first, it's coming up on Live at 4 to start our free First Fridays at the Rotary Botanical Gardens in the 608. News
3 Now's Josh Spreiter tells us how the event benefits your wellness when we come back. It's Friday!
It is Friday, finally, and in the 608, today marks the free First Friday, the first one of those at the Rotary Botanical Gardens in Janesville.
Josh Spreiter reports from Rock County.
Beautiful day to be in the gardens for free First Fridays. We're learning a little bit more about why this is so important for our health and wellness. Joining us today are Laura Kenyon of the Gardens and Megan Tim of SSM Health. Thank you so much for having us out, Laura. I want to start with you. What are free First Fridays all about for you here at the Gardens?
Yes, so it is a way for people to come into the garden and really just enjoy it and be able to access it without, maybe somebody hasn't come to the garden before and they're a little, worried or leery about, paying a fee to get in, or they want to check it out before they get a membership. This is a perfect way for somebody to be able to come, experience it, and really just enjoy the walking club.
And this is a partnership with SSM Health. And Megan, why is something like this so important for our health and wellness?
Well, we want to create opportunities for activity everywhere in our communities. And when Rotary Gardens came up with this awesome idea, it was an easy yes for us. We think that if people want to be active, that they should be active anywhere they want. And why not be active in the most beautiful place in Janesville? Come relax. When you walk here, there are benches everywhere. So if you need to take a break, there's a good space to just relax, take in the beauty. It's great for our mental health. I think that everyone associates walking with your physical health, and really it's your mental health as well. a lot of people are feeling isolated and lonely these days. Come on out, join other people walking while you're enjoying all this beauty. It's just a win-win.
It really is. And, we mentioned Free First Friday, so it's the first Friday of the month. There are a couple different times, and there's still a chance today for folks to be able to come out.
Yes, you can come from 5 to 6 today. Usually our walking club is every Monday, Friday, or Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9 a.m. till 9 a.m. to 10, and then 5 to 6. So, yeah, you're still able to come out today from 5 to 6, and then every first Friday is free. So.
And then July will be a little bit different because obviously the 4th of July.
Yes, yeah, we want to still be able to give people the opportunity, so we're going to switch it to the second week instead.
I mean, this is really what it's all about. It's about community, and I mean, when it comes to health and wellness, community is a big part of that.
Community is the biggest part of that, I think. So Rotary Gardens is our neighbor at St. Mary's Hospital in Janesville, and so it's really nice to be able to connect people. Actually, I have a feeling some of our staff will be coming down here to be walking in the garden. So yeah, when the community wraps around people, our health just goes through the roof. And so the more opportunities, the better for our community members.
Awesome. Megan, Laura, thank you so much for having us out. If you'd like to learn more about Free First Fridays here at the Rotary Botanical Gardens, just go to the story up on channel3000.com. In Janesville, Josh Prider, News 3 Now.
Good afternoon and happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to Live at 4.
And the weather words today, a 50-50 weekend of weather ahead. Let's send it actually outside to Blaze Keller, who has your forecast, Blaze.
Yes, we're looking at a generally quiet day on Saturday. Can't rule out a shower or a thunderstorm, but the best chance for rain is going to be on Sunday. So we're looking at temperatures to stay in the 70s this weekend. If you are going to be heading out on Saturday, keep the umbrella handy, especially if you live further south. But again, I would think we're going to stay more dry than wet on Saturday. It's Sunday, underneath partly sunny conditions, that we see more scattered showers and thunderstorms both days in those mid to upper 70s, and we see that thunderstorm chance continuing into Monday as well. For most of us, we're sitting underneath moderate air quality right now. We're seeing a little bubble of unhealthy for some out in Walworth County, but the haze is unfortunately going to be sticking around throughout the rest of the afternoon, overnight, and into Saturday, likely into Sunday as well. We may get a brief break Sunday night before another round of smoke moves in, likely Monday, following the front moving in those showers and thunderstorms out of the northwest. So if you can get out and enjoy today and tomorrow, we're looking at the 50s overnight. Underneath, generally speaking, partly cloudy to mostly cloudy conditions. A stray shower tonight can't be ruled out, but again, tonight and most of Saturday, likely a lot of us will stay dry than wet. So we took a look at all the rain chances over the next couple of days. Earlier in the newscast, we'll revisit the chance for rain both Monday and Sunday, and then we'll take a look at what our temperatures have in store for us next week in the full forecast.
Sounds great. Thank you, Blaze. Well, we're a little more than 4 months into President Trump's second term, but already we're seeing the midterm election shape up.
Political reporter Will Keneally sat down with one of the newest entrants into the race for Congress. He joins us now with more. Will?
Well, this right here is perhaps one of the most recognizable mustaches in Wisconsin politics. Randy Bryce here, also known as Iron Stash, ran against Brian Stile in Wisconsin's 1st congressional district in 2018, eventually losing that race for what became Stile's first term. Now, that district spans from Janesville and Beloit in our viewing area over to Racine and Kenosha on the Lake Michigan coast. Now, all of this could change, though, if the Wisconsin Supreme Court draws new congressional district maps. Now, there's currently a lawsuit before the court challenging those district lines, and we asked Bryce about what that might impact for next November's election.
I think fair maps would be a fantastic thing for the district. It's already better than 2018 when I ran with the addition of UW-Whitewater. And college and the youth vote is, I mean, that's something we're really concentrating on, because this election is about people's future.
Now, one of the things that we've been looking at with these new maps is whether that southern Wisconsin district might kind of snake up the Lake Michigan coast to Milwaukee a little bit more. That could add some Democratic voters in that district and make it a little bit more competitive.
Sure. So how winnable is the 1st district for Democrats in the first place?
So the 1st district in that southeastern part of the state, that's the purplest district that Wisconsin that we have. I was pulling these numbers actually just earlier today. The Cook Political Report, which kind of rates these congressional districts, they would say it's about a +2 Republican district, so that's gettable perhaps for Democrats. They actually list that, though, as likely Republican. I think that's probably because maybe the strength of the incumbent there. The other district to watch in Wisconsin is the 3rd Congressional District. That's La Crosse, Western Wisconsin. That's around a +3 Republican, but that's a little bit more gettable according to the Cook Political Report. A toss-up, again, that might be a little bit more of looking at the incumbent Derek Van Orden over there.
Interesting.
And it's very close. What's the vibe of this race right now, Will?
So this is really interesting. We saw, I think, a strong candidate for Democrats last time around with the former tax secretary for Wisconsin here, Peter Barca. He, longtime fixture in Wisconsin politics. I think that's probably a good shot for Democrats to try and take back that seat. They ultimately lost, though. Brian Stile kept his seat. This is a return back to kind of, I think, a populist message. Randy Bryce kind of embodies like the union vote, and he says he's going to court some of those younger collegiate voters as well. So I think that could kind of take the tenor of where this campaign would go. Also, Bernie Sanders endorsed, so it could be kind of that against Brian Stile, who's in Republican leadership in the House. So that could kind of set the tone for this race.
A lot of things to keep our eyes on. Thank you, Will Keneally, political reporter. Appreciate it.
And to Wall Street now, the Dow Jones jumped 443 points. The Nasdaq is up 232 points, and the S&P 500 is up 61 points.
And stocks rose following the latest jobs report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. It shows the U.S. economy added 139,000 jobs last month. That is down from the revised 147,000 positions reported in April. However, it's more than many economists expected. The national unemployment rate remained unchanged at 4.2%. And coming up on Live at 4, new shows are streaming this weekend.
Will Loper shows us where to watch and what to watch when we come back. Well, whether you're looking for murder mysteries or ghost stories, streaming platforms got you covered this weekend.
Will Loper shows us where to watch.
Things were supposed to be different for me. I look in the mirror. I would not bet on that guy.
Hit the links with Stick, newly streaming on Apple TV+.
You're cupping your wrist a little bit. Did you hear that? I can barely hear you. Wait right here, Mrs. Nussbaum. I'll be right back. I found a kid who swings a golf club like a dream.
The show follows a washed-up golfer, played by Owen Wilson, as he takes a new protege under his wing.
This game takes and it takes. The game's finally giving me something back.
Maybe I'm figuring out how to finally start enjoying this journey, you know?
Solve more mysteries with Poker Face Season 2, newly streaming on Peacock.
Look me in the eye and tell me that you didn't kill her.
Natasha Lyonne returns as Charlie Cale, cracking a new case each week with her uncanny ability of knowing when someone is lying.
No business like show business, huh?
You have a presence here. It's trying to figure you out. It's trying to connect to you.
And experience a ghost story from the ghost's point of view in Presence, newly streaming on Hulu.
You wonder where they are. And you wonder what it would be like if you were there too.
Lucy Liu, Kalina Lang, and more star in the Steven Soderbergh film about a family who moves into a house occupied by a supernatural presence.
I saw it. You saw it? You saw things move? I saw the aftermath.
For Live at 4, I'm Will Loper.
So what's your favorite kind of show to stream?
Ooh, favorite kind of show. I'm big into the superhero stuff. So
that's
lots of nerd
right.
things,
I did call you Superman earlier.
Yes.
I'm a big murder mystery person, so
Gotcha.
we'll tune into some of those.
But not ghost stories. You got spooked a bit during that.
No, yeah. I say no. That's okay. You
All
can
right.
watch.
But you know what's not scary? The Tonys, which you can watch right here on Channel 3 this weekend.
Well done. The awards show kicks off at 7 o'clock Sunday. It's set to end at 10 o'clock. And coming up, our Badger Beat reporter previews her story this week.
Plus, Blaze has your first one forecast when Live at 4 returns.
Well, we're taking a live look at the Bean in Chicago. Guess what, guys? 66 and partly cloudy. Or warm.
Wow, I gotta go back home. It's nicer over there.
Exactly.
Well, being inducted into the Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame is about more than sports. It's about legacy, resilience, and Badger pride.
Pretty cool. This year's class, including longtime broadcaster Matt LePay, shows what it means to make a lasting impact on and off the field. And that we have the Badger Beat story for this week is Kayla Dembick. Am I saying your name right? Yeah. Oh, awesome. Okay, so yeah, we wanted to ask the Hall of Fame. We think of big name athletes, but Matt LePay is a big name, but a very different way.
Yeah. So this year's Hall of Fame inductee class had 12 people, 2 of which were not athletes. One was a coach, and one, as we know, is Matt LePay. And it's so interesting. I got to talk to him, and he was saying that for decades he has watched these athletes. He's told stories about these great athletes, and now he's the one that's getting stories told about him. So he thinks it's just so interesting that it's kind of flipped now. He was like, I'm so used to being the one asking the questions, and now I'm getting questions asked.
And obviously you got to ask him questions. We know the voice, but what's the person like behind the voice?
He was incredibly kind, so willing to answer all of my questions, and the way he talks, I don't think he said or ah or stumbled once. He spoke so fluid. It was like he could have been on air, just the way he spoke.
And we should say he was the radio voice, has been the radio voice for Wisconsin men's basketball since 1988, Wisconsin football since 1994. There's a reason people like that don't say It takes a lot of practice. It goes way back, and just such a wonderful, wonderful story that you were able to get. Great job.
And where can we find it?
Yes, Instagram and TikTok, Badger_beat, or just look up Badger Beat. And then on the Channel 3000 website, there'll be like a little written story that'll have all the information just in an article form.
Wonderful. And you've been doing great stories, Kayla. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us here, too.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Well, if we had a Weather Hall of Fame, I think Blaze Keller would be in it, Blaze.
Oh, Armand, that's because you're trying to flatter me because you didn't know that I was inside the other time.
Wow.
I forgive you. I forgive you. Hey, we're tracking a few showers out there across parts of Juneau, Adams County, as well as Green Lake and Marquette counties. We were expecting this to develop this afternoon. It's that time of year where we just build up a little bit of energy, even if we don't have a system moving through, then we squeeze out an afternoon shower and or thunderstorm. No lightning with this shower between Westfield and Oxford, staying north of Douglas right now, as well as moving into the Montello area, probably within the next hour or so. These are pretty slow moving, and just a little bit of rain, it'll cool you off if you're underneath that shower. Moving out of Necedah, another shower, big flats, and then back into Toma, a little shower activity as well. Much like today, we're expecting those hit or miss showers and maybe a few thunderstorms into Saturday as well. Sunday and Monday, that's going to be the better chance for those scattered showers and thunderstorms. We may see that rain activity further south tomorrow as temperatures climb back into those mid-70s, so right around where we should be for this time of year. Partly sunny to mostly cloudy, not expecting any severe weather. We just don't have the upper level support for these showers and or thunderstorms really to become severe. And that's even going to be the case on Sunday. Despite the fact that we'll have a little front moving on through, we haven't gotten the atmosphere ready for that severe potential. We haven't set the table up for these storms to eat anything out of. They're just coming to the table and it's empty. So we're not anticipating any severe weather on Sunday. We will dry out as we go Sunday night into Monday. This low pressure system will continue to move through the Midwest as we go into Monday, which will once again bring us that chance for scattered showers and maybe a few thunderstorms as we head into the afternoon hours on Monday. A big high pressure system continues to sit off of the west coast, and that's pushing the jet stream further north into Canada. So where do all of our severe weather systems go? Well, they go up north. We're not anticipating over the next week or so really any big organized low pressure systems to move through the Midwest because they can't even enter the U.S. because of this high pressure system. They're just being forced to go into parts of Canada. Because the jet stream is north, though, that means that we're going to be warming on up. As we head into the June 12th through 16th time frame, we're sitting underneath a 50 to 60 to even 70 to 80% chance of being warmer than average. All of that warmer air out of the Gulf is moving northward. So take a look at our temperatures in comparison to where they should be for this time of year as we head into the middle of next week. That's when we climb back into those 80s after settling into the 70s, not only tomorrow, but Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Not a big swing in our forecast highs compared to normal. We're not seeing any days that are 10, 15, or even 20 degrees cooler or warmer than average because, again, there are no big systems that are moving in these new air masses. So while we continue to sit underneath these hazy conditions, there is a little bit of some benefit to that. We don't have any severe weather to have to worry about, which is some good news. We've certainly had our fair share with those tornadoes, and we've had at least 22 tornadoes in Wisconsin this year so far. 23 is the average, so we could do without any more for the rest of the year, and thankfully that high pressure system keeps us quiet. Rain chances pretty much taper off by Tuesday, and starting Wednesday, we climb into the 80s.
Well, it's not just Friday, it is the 87th annual National Donut Day, an extra sweet holiday celebrated across the nation.
And the Salvation Army actually began the tradition to honor the organization's volunteers known as Donut Lassies. They provided care and served donuts to soldiers during World War I. In celebration, Dunkin' Donuts is offering one free donut with a purchase of. I was just at Dunkin' Donuts this morning and no one told me anything, so I feel betrayed.
Wait,
but
you ordered a drink?
Yes, I did. I know.
Ooh, you go back.
I am going back.
Take
this is an outrage.
All right. We'll be right back. Coming up on the next Live at 4, Will Loper reviews the new movies hitting the box office this weekend. Thanks so much for joining us on Live at 4 today. We hope to see you here again on Monday. You can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.